Chapter 451. If the scumbag's psychological manipulation was a stream, then Alex's hypnosis was the entire ocean. In an instant, Alex's hypnosis completely defeated the psychological manipulation that the scumbag had been giving Gia all this while. Alex's words were like the beacon of her life, and it would never disappear from her heart in this lifetime. Gia suddenly realized how stupid she had been all this time. When she thought about how she had almost been bewitched by that scumbag to commit suicide, she was so frightened and thankful that she immediately knelt and kowtowed in front of Alex before saying, "Thank you for saving my life. I promise I will live well and never disappoint my parents. I will definitely contribute to society in the future." Alex nodded in satisfaction as he said, "Since you have already regained your senses, then I wish for you to have a happy and fulfilling life in the future." As he continued chatting with her, Alex suddenly thought of the scumbag and he asked immediately, "Can you tell me about your boyfriend?" Gia replied bitterly, "He is no longer my boyfriend from now on. That kind of person actually makes me feel sick." After that, she continued speaking respectfully to Alex, "That scumbag's name is Kataa. He is the most handsome guy in the whole of Oris University of Finance and Economics. He is not local, but I heard that he comes from a very well-off family. I was deceived and manipulated by him in the past and I have always thought that he was perfect. I really did not expect him to be such a despicable villain." Alex nodded again before he said, "I heard that he caused a lot of girls to commit suicide because of him." Gia nodded repeatedly before she said, "I am just one of the many girls that he is toying around with. I do not know how many other girls he has." Alex sighed before he said, "Why don't we do this instead? Why don't you give him a call and tell him that there is a gift that you would like to give to him before dying? Ask him to come and meet you immediately." Gia asked doubtfully, "What if he refuses to come and see me?" Alex replied, "If he refuses to come, just tell him that you want to break up with him. Tell him that you do not want anything to do with him from now on. This kind of scumbag was intent on forcing you to commit suicide because of him. He regards a person committing suicide because of him as his greatest achievement. If he hears that you are going to break up with him, it will definitely be a huge blow to his self-esteem. These kinds of scumbags took pleasure in controlling and manipulating women. However, it would be a huge pain and shock to them if the women eventually escaped their control. They regarded this kind of thing as a battle, and there was only one victor in a battle. If the victor was not themselves, they would be deemed a loser. Failure was beyond their tolerance." At this exact moment, in a bar near the Oris University of Finance and Economics, Kataa was sitting across a beautiful girl. He smiled before saying, "Beauty, God is really unfair to me. I come to this bar alone every single day, but today is the first time that I am seeing you here. I feel as though I have lived the past 20 years for no reason at all." The girl smiled and blushed as she said, "You are very good at coaxing girls. I guess you must do this a lot." Kataa shook his head repeatedly as he said solemnly, "I am actually a very shy person and I do not usually dare to talk to girls. However, you give me a very special feeling and I hesitated and struggled by myself for a long time before I finally decided to come over and talk to you." As he spoke, Kataa deliberately revealed the Rolex watch on his wrist. This watch was easily worth more than $10 million as it was an extremely rare limited edition watch. However, this watch meant nothing to Kataa at all. After all, he had many other expensive watches at home, and each of them was worth tens of millions of dollars. The girl recognized the limited edition Rolex at a single glance, and she was utterly surprised. However, she hurriedly pretended not to see it as she grinned and said, "Since we are fated to meet today, why don't we have a drink or two together?" Kataa smiled slightly before he said, "It would be my pleasure." After that, he immediately called for the waiter. "Bring me 2 bottles of your best scotch." The Goldsmith Scotch sold for more than $40,000 a bottle in the bar, and it could be easily called the most expensive scotch in the bar.